Hello, and welcome to the Come to Your Senses podcast. I'm your host, embodiment-based coach, Mary Lofgren. Here, we explore how to live bravely and beautifully through a lifestyle of embodiment. You'll hear gems to empower you around mindset, mindfulness, somatic psychology, and neuroscience, as well as beauty, food, style, and the art of slow living to meet your soul through the senses. I am so happy that you're here. Let's begin. Hello, beautiful beings, and welcome to Come to Your Senses. Do we have a treat in store today? Today, I am so delighted and excited to introduce you to a queen in every sense of the word, Perle Noire. I first met Perle after inviting her out to a lunch date in New York. She has become a friend, a colleague, a muse, a teacher. Perle is one of our esteemed guest teachers and artists in the upcoming Come to Your Senses coterie. And the story of when I first encountered Perle on stage is one I will never forget and that you'll hear at the start of today's episode. Perle is not just a queen of burlesque, but she is also a great healer through her groundbreaking Healing Through Seduction methodology, which you'll hear about in today's episode. And without further ado, let us dive into our journey with the incandescent Perle Noire. Before we dive into our gems, I want to make a quick announcement, which is that this is the final week to enroll and receive $500 off the Come to Your Senses coterie. The coterie is my 6-month body-led immersion to reignite your radiance through making embodiment, beauty, and sensory pleasure your lifestyle. We start in January, but we close enrollment in December. So head to alifewellsavored.com. At the time of this recording, we also have 4 partial scholarships left. If you've been eyeing the program and you want to enroll, but some financial assistance would make it easier for you to join, head to alifewellsavored.com and check out the scholarships tab to get more info and to apply. And I cannot wait to go on this journey of sacred sensory embodiment and to make this coming year your feminine renaissance of radiance. P.S. Perle is one of our guest teachers, so if you're a Perle fan, you will be dazzled and delighted. See you over at alifewellsavored.com. So the first time that I encountered Perle was at the New York Burlesque Festival years ago, probably 2012. And I remember you came out on stage, and I don't remember literally anything else from that night. I don't remember who I was with. I don't remember what I was wearing, but I remember you coming out on stage, and I think you were wearing a lime green ensemble. Mm-hmm. It was some color that had total pow. And I just obviously the podcast is called Come to Your Senses. I lost control of my senses. It was I was having a transformative, transportative experience.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
And that's something that I just so admire of you as a performer, but also in how you show up in the world is as someone who carries such a dynamic sense of presence that everything else is just kind of this accessory to your divinity.
Yes. That was during the time where I decided that white men in burlesque, that the high school bullies, that the family bullies were not going to tell me that as a dark-skinned Black woman, I could not embody what they call classic glamour. I can't wear red lipstick. I can't put on a gown if I'm performing burlesque. I, am limited to a tribal act. I'm limited to only doing high energy because I'm the Black one. No, Black women, indigenous people, African people, in my opinion, we are responsible for what makes burlesque great. Talk about corsets. What kind of body were those women trying to mimic back in the day when they created those bustles and corsets? Let's talk about these beautiful fans and headdresses. Hello, indigenous people much? I'm not going to have these people tell me that I cannot embody something that my people created. And anyone who has been popular in this art form is embodying a Black woman or an indigenous woman or an ethnic woman. And so when I decided to do these, traditional glamour acts, it was me taking my identity back and going to the girl who grew up putting on power suits while her cousins had on t-shirts. There's some pictures of me, my cousin sent me. We're like 10 or 11. I've got on a power suit, y'all, with shoulder pads, and she dressed herself. I'm like, I'm playing tea and boardroom, and my cousins are like, girl, what? And so I was made fun of my whole life because I wanted to embody glamour. And as a Black woman in the South, it's like you can only be glamorous at church. You can only be glamorous when it's connected to your pain at a funeral. No, there's this line from the rapper, I think his name is Jendaya, where he says, they say, Jendaya, why you dress so classic? I don't want my best dressed day in a casket. So that's what you saw.
Yes. It's like what I saw and what I felt. That's something that I think is just so unique to you, or at least that I feel is so unique to you as a performer.
Thank you.
Every time you come on stage, it's not an aesthetic experience. It's a full body experience. And your love and commitment to freedom and transformation is just so evident. Like you embody it so beautifully through the way that you move and perform.
Thank you so much. Thanks for being open to the ceremony that I was presented for y'all that day.
Yes. And so you have helped over 4,000 survivors, women and femmes, reclaim their narrative through healing, through burlesque, and self-seduction. And where I'd love to begin is just with those words that I feel lay like a charm over my being, healing through seduction. Oh, healing through seduction.
Yes.
So it's like, I want to just fling the doors open for you to share anything you want to share about what that means to you and your experience with it.
First of all, I'm feeling so gagged because I actually need to update my bio. It's definitely been over 5,000 this year. And how I'm able to transform so many lives is because, I've been doing the online sessions since MySpace and Skype were a thing, y'all. Let me go ahead and age myself. Let me go ahead and do it. And the reason why the art of healing through seduction is so powerful is because, one, if you were like me and you grew up being told to take your hand off your hip, you grew up being told to cover your breasts because the family members might look, or the people at church or society, you grew up being told that your body was dangerous. You grew up being told that your femininity could cause harm. And if something happened to your body, if you seduced someone else with your young body, you seduce this older person, now you have this toxic relationship to the idea of seduction. And it goes further because of now you hate yourself and you choose partners that hate you. I'll say it again. Now you hate yourself and you choose partners that hate you. You find yourself seduced by the safety in others, so you don't trust yourself. You find yourself seduced in the idea of finding sanctuary in other people or even religion or your cultural upbringing. You find the seduction of playing the role to finally be good enough. And so when you say, I'm going to heal through seduction, you decide to seduce and romance yourself by retraining your mind to speak kindly. You seduce yourself by trusting your intuition. You trust when you have the butterflies for yourself that you're waiting to have for other people. You trust your own ideas. You trust what you want. You honor your boundaries with yourself. So it's easier for you to honor your boundaries with other people. So the seduction is reclaiming that autonomy over your body. And burlesque is perfect for that, regardless if you are a professional or not. To the core, burlesque is about having full autonomy over your body and healing through storytelling. We get seduced by those whispers in our ear. Why don't you whisper in your own ear, honey? Seduce yourself, and that will heal you, in my opinion.
Ugh.
Ugh.
Just gonna play that every morning when I get out of bed.
Yes.
That is so, I love the reclamation of seduction, like that original fracture between someone's magnetism and the impact that that has on another person being a cause for shame rather than a natural expression of power.
Absolutely. I definitely have always been who I am. And as the 44-year-old, I realized, I'm like, oh, you just always had magnetism. You always were powerful. And the people around you, though they may have loved you, they didn't know how to love such a powerful being, and chances might be that because their powerful being was silenced and that kept them safe. And so, those around us, they do the best they can.
Mm-hmm. Well, and that's something you so inspire me about is the intersection of forgiveness and boundaries.
Yeah. Oh, because listen, let me tell y'all, a beautiful way to heal through seduction is to forgive without access. And so when we talk about boundary setting, we are all kind of taught the wrong definition of that. It's like you go in with anger, guns a-blazing. This is it. This is what I will and will not tolerate. No, honoring your boundaries has everything to do with you looking inward and changing your behavior, changing what you tolerate with yourself first. Then you think about other people. That's why things like self-consent is very important. And so when you give yourself that consent, for example, for me, I limit my time with my family because there's always an issue with my body. I'm 44 now. They're still telling me to cover up, even though I wear purposely turtlenecks almost, but my shape is still there. I'm like an E cup. I was like a D at 11. And it's like, cover those things up. And so then my boundary is, hi, family members, if you want to see me, do not speak about my body again. So I'm going to give myself the consent and I forgive you, but you won't have access to me because you've already shown me that you won't honor when I implement a boundary, when I say this is harmful. So it's then up to me to no longer give the access. And that is me being a bigger person for my inner child, not for the person harming me.
Mm-hmm. And just watching you talk with so for those listening who, aren't seeing a visual, there's these gorgeous flowers atop Pearl's head. There's a gorgeous red tunic and lips to match. And it's just Wednesday or Tuesday. No, it's Wednesday. It's 1 p.m. And like, what I love about that is the way that you possess powers of transformation and leadership in this unapologetically feminine, glamorous package. Ooh. Like, it makes me trust you so deeply.
Ooh.
Because I know I don't have to censor any part of myself to be strong or to be free,
That makes me feel so So good, especially because, there's the whole, oh, you need to be real. I want someone who's going to be real and vulnerable. And people equate that to someone looking busted in their presence. And I know for me, when I was in abusive relationships, that was the first thing they asked me to stop doing was dressing up. And the manipulation was, oh, you're trying to draw attention to yourself. If you love me, you stop wearing makeup, you put on jeans. And, because of my conditioning, I accepted that and not realizing that I was being abused in that. That's manipulation. And then that's how it starts. And so being glamorous to all the people who are listening who are like, but my authentic self is someone who wants to wear red lipstick, going to the grocery store, if you're in New York, to the bodega. That is, when you are yourself, that is you being open and vulnerable and real. You don't have to go online without brushing your teeth to be approachable and relatable.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes. Like
Brush
what
your teeth.
freedom. Right. Because I know for myself, it's like, it's been this real ping pong of like growing up super Catholic and renouncing any resemblance of glamour or seduction, and then swinging to the total opposite end of the spectrum, and then finding right relationship of just the adornment of the temple of my soul, And something that you've already mentioned, but that I hear you talk a lot about is self-consent. And the first time you shared it, it was like, I don't even know what that means. And I felt you move us through in one of your workshops. I felt you move us through this meditation and a body scan that was consent based. And it was so powerful. And I wondered if you could share a little bit about just what that means and looks like.
Well, I definitely, from my own experience, as a survivor of sexual assault, unfortunately, most of us are. And, we don't want that victimhood, so we are like, but I'm going to have a good sex life and I'm going to have a partner, and it's like, I will win. And it's like, but then we still go in there not realizing we're an adult now and we have say. And so then we find ourselves just being numb, even with the people we love when we're trying to be intimate. And we do what they want us to do. We want to emulate what's on porn. We want to do whatever we need to do to have the emotional surrogate say yes to us, to validate our existence, to tell us we're fine, we're not dirty, we are worthy. So let me spread myself open and let someone penetrate me before I'm ready. Just because you are wet doesn't mean you are ready. So you want to get to the point to where you actually say in the foreplay, in the intimacy, in the flirtation, even right then and there, hey, go ahead and put the condom on, or hey, go ahead and put those black gloves on for this finger bang, whatever you're doing, y'all. But I want to just do a nice little scan, and it can be something done that's with the partner. You two can watch each other, ask your body for consent, and caress your bodies in front of each other. And I'm sure that will be arousing, but there has to be a willingness for you to stop and take responsibility for your own safety instead of they triggered me, they harmed me. No, I'm not. No, listen, we would never take away. But to get to the other side, for some of us, it's going to require you to step into the space to where you're willing to be responsible for your own safety. One of the things I also say in my workshops and my sessions is I cannot guarantee a safe space, but I can guarantee a safer space for you to explore safety within yourself.
Wow. I love that.
Because we don't know what triggers each other at any time. I'll never forget when I realized I was never going to say I provided a safe space again, was from doing one of these rituals and a hand massage. The first time the woman did it, she loved it. The second time she was triggered like nobody's business. You never know where it's stored. And that
Mm-hmm.
is also why you have to do the self-consent. There needs to be a check-in. I'm wet, but is my arm ready to be touched?
Mm-hmm.
Are my nipples ready to be touched? We have to
Mm-hmm.
start checking in. That's what I mean by the self-consent.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that is so like when we talk about vulnerability,
Mm-hmm.
it's like that is that embodiment of vulnerability. You know,
Yes.
I feel like I've had so many sensual experiences that were just me riding an assembly line of what turn on is supposed to look like, you know.
Same.
And lately, I've been having really fulfilling sensual experiences
Mm.
that, like, you know, I like the orgasm is not even the memorable part.
That's
You know,
beautiful.
like where the goal, the pleasure is secondary to the
Mm.
honesty and the vulnerability and the pace
Yeah.
where no part of myself has to leave in order for me to be here, you know?
Absolutely. And, I think there's fear, at least for me, I'll speak for myself. There was always fear of, you want this to be a good experience for the other person. So it's like, oh, I don't want to stop and like kill the mood. So, quotations here. And then there's the fear too that you will offend someone. And I'm here to tell you, you will,
Mm-hmm.
but it is better to lose them than yourself,
Mm-hmm.
than to traumatize yourself as you
Right.
are trying to return to your sensuality and sexuality, especially if you are a survivor.
Right. Yes. Yes. It's like if I dissociate,
Mm-hmm.
that will also kill the mood. Like it's helpful for me to remember that because that
Yeah.
part that just wants me to keep going and keep going for
Mm-hmm.
fear of being seen in my own tenderness.
Yes.
It's like, it's been a 40 some year journey of learning that
Yes.
actually that part is not the trustworthy part. And like the
Absolutely.
tender part is the most
Absolutely.
trustworthy part, you know?
Absolutely. I agree.
And, before we started recording, I was talking about this idea that I feel sensuality and this kind of sensuality that we're talking about, which is really just allowing your soul to be expressed through your
Yeah.
senses,
Yeah.
whether that's through a sexual encounter or the
Mm-hmm.
application of ruby woo, red lipstick,
Yes.
or whatever, like that it's really the cutting edge of self development.
Yeah. I agree.
And so it sounds like that resonates with you. And I'm curious your experience with that in having worked with so many people and seen them transform in this very specific way.
It's really, first of all, there are many mornings I wake up and I'm like, girl, you are really rich. I am really living the most fulfilled life because my work is watching people transform like this. My
Mhm.
work involves witnessing people return to themselves, watching them say yes to themselves. And then a week later saying, I just made 30K in one day, the most I've ever made in my business. I just implemented a boundary with my mother. I just implemented a boundary with my husband. And now we just had the best sex we've had in 10 years. And so
Mhm.
I think that's the thing that people don't realize, that prioritizing healing certain traumas, prioritizing connecting to the sensuality, healing from it, making the conscious decision to embody yourself helps everywhere else as well. When we think about sensuality, it's connected to everything. It's connected to the creativity, it's connected to the sense of self. And I think we're ignoring it by design. But for me, it's connected to everything. So it's very powerful to witness someone say aha to themselves, not an idea, but
Mhm.
saying aha, having an aha moment to their identity.
I think that that is a really beautiful distinction because I've experienced that of like going to self-development workshops and having insight after insight after insight,
Mhm.
and then going home and feeling so overwhelmed with all these mental insights that I
Yeah.
should be able to implement, like, wait a minute,
Yeah.
I just had this
Yeah.
transformative experience. And what you're describing is not necessarily an insight, but it's a revelation of identity.
Yes. Yes.
That,
And acceptance.
yeah,
I think that's where it comes from too. There's the acceptance of the identity.
right.
Mhm.
Right. Because more traditional self development, I feel like, is rearranging the boxes and prettifying the boxes of our identity.
Yes.
Whereas the sensual demands that
Yes.
we move with and embody the truth of who we are.
When you are healing through seduction, sorry to cut you off, when you're healing
Yeah.
through seduction, what I really focus on is the mirror. So, yes, come to me and like, oh, I want my husband and my wife, my girlfriend, oh, this job, this show. I'm like, that's great, but it has to be after
Mm-hmm.
you see yourself in this mirror. So when you are healing through seduction, when you're having the insight of self, once it's just for you, everything else will be in alignment. But if you are coming to rearrange yourself, like you talked about, for the partner, for the job, for the children, for the community, you're still going to be numb
Mm-hmm.
because you're going to be performing. And that's why my classes work for people who are not performers. I actually have more non-performers. And the performers who come know I have a strict rule that there is no performing here.
Mm-hmm.
I won't even let them ask me questions about performing.
Right.
My job is to make sure your sensuality is not performative.
Whew. Yes. Oh, I'm just letting that slide down my gullet.
Yes. Yes.
I mean, for years and years, I tried to be like just a Instagram internet sensation,
Mm-hmm.
and just kept coming up against roadblock after roadblock. And finally, my body was like, you don't want that. Like, you're chasing something you don't even want. And that changed everything for me.
Come on, self-consent.
Yeah.
Honoring the boundaries. Yes. See,
Exactly.
that's what it looks like. That was a beautiful real-time example for anyone who's thinking, what does that actually look like for me right there?
Yeah. Beautiful. Well, and on that topic of, I love how you talked about how you have performers and non-performers in your classes. And I know that there are some listening who might be thinking, I could never even buy a tube of red lipstick. I could never be like that. And for someone who might be aching on the inside for this work, but feels so obstructed by their identity that they could never be like that. I'm curious, just any words of wisdom or invitation you might offer to them.
Yes, absolutely. Sexiness is the embodiment of you living your truth. So maybe your truth is no lipstick at all, but it's dancing in your underwear when no one is looking. Maybe your truth is taking an extra 30 minutes in the bathroom to just sit there and teach the people in your life to honor your space. Maybe your definition of glamour goes back to the original definition, which is to cast a spell on yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So it's I
Could you say
open.
more about that? About the
Yes.
original definition of glamour?
So when I did my healing through seduction experience last year, I asked my daughter Bisley LeBois to really go into one of my principles, which is glamour is your birthright. And so she presented this beautiful glamour ritual. And of course, she was like, it's not about what we are wearing, but I want us to talk about the original definition, which meant to cast a spell, to glamour yourself. And so then I started thinking about things like the shows, I'm going to age myself again, y'all, Charmed and things like that, right? And it's like, they glamour you. Like when you think
Yeah.
about these old witch shows and talking about, witchcraft and things like that, even if you don't believe in that, but they would use the words like glamour. They glamored or they shimmered me, and I think in True Blood, they said shimmered. It's like, oh, it's to cast a spell. And so when I think of you casting a spell on yourself, I think of you being in a trance, in a euphoric sense, in an orgasmic state of a willingness that's uninhibited, a willingness that isn't calculated. There's a freedom when you have a spell on yourself. And so I think that's what it's about. It's really just seeing what you feel more than what you see. So yes, I've got the flowers. I'm wearing the red lipstick to go to the bodega down the street. But that's because of how it makes me feel. And so when you're coming to work with people like us, that's what we want you to do. We want you to trust what you feel. And once you trust how good you feel, maybe your wardrobe will change, maybe it won't, but you'll change how often you trust how you feel. That's what it is for me.
Beautiful. Yeah. And I love just the way that, one of my favorite performers, Justin Vivian Bond, has a hashtag on Instagram, glamorous resistance.
It is.
And just about the revolutionary nature of unbridled self-expression.
That's what it is. That's what it is. And I would say to anyone who's on this journey, who's like, I really want to do this, the self-expression, everything has to start at home. And what I mean by home is in your body. So before you're thinking about how you're going to look in the outside world, how you're going to look at home, are you going to wait until a special occasion to eat on that china? Or you're going to do like me and put your hot Cheetos on there? Okay. Let's get this hot Cheeto puff combo going right in this china bowl.
Yes.
I'm eating on the fine china today. I'm the special occasion, right? So it's things like that. It starts at home, physical home, the mental home, okay, the body. Don't put pressure on yourself to look a certain way. That's still you seeking the validation. That's still you seeking the yes from outside forces. Let's see what you do at home, because patriarchy and all of that has nothing to do with how you treat yourself at home. Because I know there are a lot of factors where people tell themselves why they can't do this work. And most of the time it's the man. That's the main reason. And I say, great, but what is the man doing at your house where you have the key?
Gorgeous. I had a foster dog recently who was 6 pounds, and I named him Cornelius. And I would give him his water out of this vintage teacup. And it was so perfect.
Yes.
It was so adorable. I'll include the video of that in the show notes of this page.
Yes, it's things like that. It's things like that. They matter.
Yeah. Yeah, because now that teacup has Cornelius's energy all over it. And I feel so much tenderness towards that teacup now.
I love it. Yes, Cornelius.
Cornelius.
Oh.
So that kind of brings us to the end of my questions. And I'm curious if there's anything else that you want to plug in or anything else that wants to be shared.
I want to say that the start of this journey for everyone, I want to invite the grace. We are in the infancy of our evolution, and we don't judge babies for eating with their hands. We don't laugh at babies for trying to walk and falling. And that's the same kind of grace we're going to need to give ourselves. And also, anytime you nurture your body with food or water, that's a perfect opportunity to heal through seduction with a beautiful thought. You can place one hand over your heart and let yourself feel your heartbeat and be romanced by your heartbeat, and just trust that that heartbeat is proof that you're not done. So that's that. I want to plug grace. I want to plug grace. And of course, I do have a free ebook, the Healing Through Seduction ebook, that gives some examples of the burlesque inspired rituals that I do, and it's self-paced. It's a perfect gift that I'd love to offer to your listeners.
Thank you. Yeah, we'll definitely put that in the show notes. And
Mhm.
I can attest that Pearl is an extremely generous facilitator. And your emails are just always so ripe and rich with gifts and content. And
Thank you.
so, yes.
Thank
So I
you.
am so grateful to have you as part of the Come to Your Senses community and also faculty.
Yes.
Pearl has been a teacher in my classes before and is teaching in our upcoming coterie. So thank you so much for the gifts you bring to this world. So, so grateful for you.
Thank you. I can't wait to have you in for my community as well. I have some ideas for 2024. Stay tuned, everybody.